Wrong one. Ha!
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Wiz podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to somebody way across the other side of the world. She is a pro wrestler. She's a badass. She's the one and only Regina Rosendahl. Regina, what's going on?
Nothing much. Having some cider here because it's Saturday. Did my makeup for, I can't remember the last time I did my makeup, so it's refreshing. I'm good.
That's
Even
awesome.
though we're in lockdown here in Finland, but
Which, I mean, good lord. Good for you for having a cider. I mean, it's kind of early. It's not even 12 noon where I am, and it's, I don't know. But then again, I think it was like Jimmy Buffett that said, like, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? So I should have an ale or something like that. But what kind of ale are you drinking? What type of cider are you drinking?
this is like a Finnish brand called Laitilan Oiva. It's a blueberry cider.
Yeah?
I've never tasted it before, but it's very blueberryish.
Which, I mean, in your natural alcoholic consumptions, is blueberry the thing you're like, hey, I'm missing in my life, I need to put some in it?
Usually not in my alcohol. No, I do enjoy blueberries, but
Yeah.
that was just something I saw and grabbed it.
There.
So
Why the fuck not? I'm just saying. Yeah. And our good friend, Ref Dummy, says, hi, mama.
hey, girl.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's kind of cool because you're a wrestler in your own right, but you raise a whole kind of legion of other wrestlers on the Finnish scene, which that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I've been the head coach in FCF Wrestling for 2 years almost, and also I'm in the board. So we have a 5-person board that is kind of in charge, and I'm one of them. I'm the vice chairman of the board as well. So I'm like kind of a jefe in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very time consuming and energy consuming and everything. But I love it. It's obviously a passion of mine. I don't think I would do that if it wasn't. So.
No, 100%. Which it kind of makes you Laparka of Finland, right? Because he was the chairman of the board, and you're the chairperson of. I'm just no, maybe not. Yeah, you're obviously you're obviously not a masked person, even though you put the makeup on. You are a legit badass. So. I'm just saying. Yeah. I love that the Finnish ale that has blueberries. I'm almost intrigued by such a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Blueberry is a very Finnish thing. Like, I think we have a lot of blueberry stuff here. And I've only ventured out to beers in the last couple. Well, I started drinking beer when I started wrestling. That's very common for people. So
you don't say. What? No.
So,
what?
Yeah, I'm more of a wine person, but today I wasn't feeling like drinking wine, but yeah.
Not judging, but I might have a pinky up, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pinky up.
Definitely.
There
all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, when does Regina, a youngin, pre-wrestling Regina, actually get, I guess, an optics on the crazy world of pro wrestling?
Well, it's the same story as everyone else, I feel like. It's very basic. I started watching wrestling when I was 10 on the TV, fell in love, decided I want to do it. Then after high school, I went straight to tryouts and started wrestling. Yeah.
Whoa! Like right from the jump, just like, oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I've graduated. Let me do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
that was
ki-
my only like plan for life. I've never had any other like career plans
Yeah.
in my life. So that was there's just something I promised my mom that I would graduate high school first and then start the wrestling stuff. Um
That's That's pretty fucking badass, I say. And you're like, oh, it's the same story as everybody else. I was like talking to Aaron Mahoney, who used to be a referee in the WWE yesterday, and he was just like, oh no, I literally just like started in OVW and then got called up to the main roster and shit like that. Now he started later in life and everything like
yeah.
that, and had already like was a theater major and everything like that. But he started like literally almost on top, and he was working with like
Yeah.
CM Punk right from like, oh, not the jump, but that's it. And then his first like WrestleMania, he was basically doing the Rey Mysterio versus, oh God, oh, Rey Mysterio versus JBL and JBL's retirement match at Mania. That was his first Mania. He worked a title match, which I was like, that's not
Damn.
normal. That's not normal. Holy shit. Good job, guy. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah, man. But I mean, high school, and it's weird because I thought I would have a similar trajectory to you. I'm my dad is like a African descendant of slaves, American, and then my mom is from Fiji. Same kind of genealogy as The Rock, and I'm all like, oh, I'm gonna be a giant, and I'm gonna go and wrestle in Japan, and then blow out my knees because that's what tall people do, and then
Yep.
settle into a commentary spot here in North America. Well, genetics are a funny fucking thing, and I filled out all of 5'9", which is normal height and whatever, and still got the bad knees, but I just took a unconventional route, went to radio school and all that jazz and whatever, didn't touch it at all. 15 years later, I started doing interviews on like the MMA and pro wrestling scene in Southern California, and then here we are, podcasts.
Well,
Yeah.
that's life.
It's life, man. You just
Yeah.
gotta take those curves where you can get them and
Yeah.
just figure it out, man.
Yeah, I don't even like to plan ahead like too much. I kind of just like to go with the flow and whatever opportunities kind of present themselves, and I just grab them like when they come. And I don't even have like an actual like goal. Though they like evolve as I go. So like my next goal is this, my next goal is that, and then when I achieve those, it's more. I'm never satisfied. I know that much, um, but yeah, I try to be happy still with the journey as well. That's what I've been trying to concentrate on right now. So yeah,
Now
it's a
that
long one.
yeah, absolutely. Which I mean, in terms of you know, were you one of those like A to B people where like, hey, I need to get to B, right? I'm starting at A, and if you tell me this is what I need to do to get to B, I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to enjoy the process. It might suck, but I'll do it and grin and bear it just
Sure.
so I can get to B.
Yeah, yeah, that's very much like how I've dealt with life. But now I'm trying to also enjoy it while I go from point to point. So it's not always working, and I'm not like always happy all the fucking time. But like it's a goal of mine to enjoy where I am, and because you never know, I might die tomorrow. So why might as well enjoy stuff while I'm here.
I say
Yeah.
so. I say so. And kind of taking it back to the joy of you finding pro wrestling. I mean, I guess like who were some of the ones that kind of influenced you when you started watching?
Well, the number one person why I fell in love with wrestling was John Cena.
Okay.
I loved John Cena. I still like him. I still love him. It's a very old love of mine.
Yeah.
Since then, I have started picking up a lot of different kind of wrestlers as well. But he was like the first love, and so was Batista. And then I kind of found the girls like a little bit later, but it was like Lita, of course, and then Beth Phoenix. I think Beth Phoenix is one who resonated with me so much because I was always an athlete growing up.
Yeah.
So kind of seeing that, like, she was such a different shape as the other girl. She was a strong, powerful woman. And she was just, I don't know, there was something about her being different and still being in the top. So I feel like maybe she doesn't get like enough recognition for that. But that was like a huge part of my childhood, seeing her.
Yeah, it's cool that there was Beth Phoenix, right? Because like she was different than even Lita or even China,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and I kind of remember of being a certain age, and there was Bull Nakano and her feuds with Alundra Blaze,
Yeah,
the
just
previous.
watched that today. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Usually, girls of that particular size and style, even guys, right? King Kong Bundy, whatever, they would always be the heels, right? And
Yeah.
Beth started out as a heel, but they kind of like you couldn't help but love her, and then it kind of paved the way for Natalia and different other gals of that size to, she kind of normalized
Yeah, in a
that.
way, even though Natalia was there before Beth, I think, and then when Beth came, they started a tag team as well. It was like something like a pin-up strong or something.
Yeah, like put
It
up strong
was a
styles
heel.
or strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, they were like the only two that looked different in the women's locker room, basically. So that was a very powerful thing to watch, even though they were very much heels
Yeah.
in there. But yeah, it was very nice to see. And I was in attendance in WrestleMania 35, where
Really?
they had the women's main event, but they
Yeah.
also had Beth Phoenix in the tag team championship match. Mm-hmm. Oh, so that was a very emotional night for so many reasons. But yeah, so I got to see her wrestle live, and yeah,
Whoa! So you've actually done a Mania?
yeah, that's my only one. But that was a good
Wow.
one to go.
I would say so. My goodness! Like I was actually waiting for this year. I was because yeah, I was. So I grew up in Inglewood, California, and SoFi Stadium is there, along with like the Great Western Forum. Well, I call it Great Western. They just call it the Forum now. But all the greats like the Magic Johnson and God, Wayne Gretzky all played there to an extent, right?
Yeah.
And the SoFi Arena was just literally across the street where they built it. So my first Mania was going to be literally in my hometown, and then COVID.
Oh, so you've never been to Mania yet?
No, no,
Damn.
I know, I know.
I heard
I'm
everyone who lives in the States has been to WrestleMania. That's like my idea.
idea. Yeah, yeah. I went to. I may be sitting on a Survivor Series 2018 chair. So, and that was my first like pay per view, and that happened at Staples Center. But yeah, I think I went NXT. It was like a 3 day, like NXT on Saturday, then Sunday was Survivor Series, and then Monday Raw, and I could have went to Tuesday. I was tapped out. I was just like, there's so much. My voice was hoarse. I couldn't. I was just like, whatever. And I got made fun of because I've got friends that kind of work there, but I was just taking selfies with everyone, like drunken like elevator rides with Corey Graves, and maybe getting into a fight with one of the Usos. Yeah,
Gasp.
one of them was great. The other one, not so much.
One of them is great.
One of them was great.
No.
I still got. I want to say the one, whatever is, and not to kind of punch somebody while they're down, and not to say that I would have. I have pretty shitty jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Don't know how it would work against like the thigh slap and super kicks of one of the Usos, but he wasn't in the best of moods, and in hindsight, I shouldn't have, but. Yeah, I was just like, hey, I'm from Fiji. You guys are islanders too. And then the cool brother was like, yo, chill out, bro. Like, he's from Fiji, he's Islanders, and then the fucking drunk and belligerent one, which I think is the one that gets into trouble, who may also be married to Naomi. I think that's the one.
Okay, that's
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. But I met the NXT ref, the gentleman of Indian descent, and
nice.
his family is actually from Fiji. I noticed because he had like a whale's tooth and whatever. So we're friends now. But I almost got into a fight with one of the Usos.
Oh,
Yeah, happens.
no,
Yeah,
that's life.
it's life. That's life. Now, from graduating high school to training in pro wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So, did you? I mean, was there a school near you that you knew, like, hey, that's where I'm going, or?
I initially when I first got the idea that I wanted to become a pro wrestler, I thought I would have to move outside of Finland to start because I had no idea we had wrestling
Yeah.
here. So I thought I would always have to end up moving to Canada. For some reason, that was my idea. I don't know why. Like, I didn't think of the UK, but I just thought I was gonna go to Canada. Um, but I haven't, never been there. So when I was in high school, actually, I was 16 when I found the FCF Wrestling in Finland. They were actually doing a show in my hometown, and they were such a small promotion back then. They were like borderline backyard kind of, especially like with the production value. That was kind of like the backyard thing, even though they were doing like pretty solid things for people in Finland. And I sound horrible. I hope no one.
Gets offended. Like, you backyard outlaw mud show sons of bitches.
Oh, but it wasn't good. But I was still like hearts in my eyes watching at them because it was still like first pro wrestling I'm seeing live. So I didn't care what kind of a gym they were having a show in. I was just like, what? This is actually a real thing. Like, it's not just in my head, kind of like, or somewhere there in the world.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I think I followed them for like two or almost 3 years. I went to their shows,
Yeah.
and during that time they did evolve as well. So became a bit, a little bit better. It got a lot better when I started. Like, no, honestly, like me and I started in the same class with 7 guys, or
Yeah.
6 guys and 1 other girl. The girl, excuse me, the other girl dropped out quite quick. But the guys are still, all the guys and myself are still wrestling, and a lot of us are in charge of the promotion now. Like, we are running the promotion, and we are running the, everything that goes along with it, basically. So we were kind of like the new, like the wind of change, kind of like
Yeah.
we started a new era. In a way, we wanted to get rid of the old, like, not everything old, but like the old negative kind of ranking and bullying shit that they had, and the
Yeah.
mentality that, because I remember the mentality back then was like, I didn't feel like they really, well, I think the general feeling that we got was that this product that we do is not something that we really care to push forward. We just want you guys to start here and get the fuck out of Finland to wrestle somewhere else. That was kind of like they kind of treated it as like just a starting point,
Yeah.
and they didn't really respect the fact that maybe some people want to wrestle and don't want to go out, anywhere else. Maybe they just want to wrestle and be good wrestlers in this small kind of place. And that's okay as well. It took me a while to understand that, because obviously I have such big dreams, and I'm like going there and there and there, and I've been watching wrestling forever. But like, now I understand that, like, it's okay to have it almost like as a hobby in a way. Like, you can just do this and have your home promotion and just do that and be good at that. That's fine. So we wanted to change that. We wanted to have a good solid ground for pro wrestling in Finland, where my goal is to make it strong enough that it will last after I leave. So when I'm not here, I hope pro wrestling is still alive in Finland. So
I,
yeah,
I love it, and I mean, one of the your I don't want to say disciples, but definitely your student says, "Thank." Ref Tommy says, "Thank goodness you didn't leave." 100%,
yeah,
hundred
not yet.
percent. Oh, dun dun dun. And Ryan Hitchcock says, "Hey, hey Adam, hey Regina, greetings from the UK." Shout out to Ryan.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, and DJ Yannick's over on Twitch says, "Greetings from the UK, according to Woods. Good to see you as always, brother. Thank you, good sir." And hey, Regina, you're looking lovely. Hope you are well. So just love DJ Yannick's and Ryan Hitchcock and Ref Tommy. Just amazing. Now, I mean, how did you said the winds of change, right? Like you
Yeah.
guys and you gal that essentially started out as students and then ended up taking literally like the bull by the horns and taking the promotion where you guys are on the board, you're a head trainer. Like,
Mhm.
at what point of this whole thing going down did it happen?
I think it was like 3 years in. I think somewhere around 2017. Yeah, it was 2017 when, because we're an organization, FCF Wrestling, or the organization name is Pro Wrestling ry, which is like a, what the fuck is ry in English? I have no idea. But anyway, FCF Wrestling. And so when we are an organization in Finland, the people in the organization or the members can always vote for the people on board. So we have annual voting who is in charge. And that was only a technicality back then. So no one ever really challenged the situation. Like, we are just having the same person running this year after year.
Mm-hmm.
And things are not maybe doing great, and people are not maybe feeling great. So it took a couple of very brave people. Also, like, other good friends of mine, like from the older wrestlers as well, because obviously when we step in, we've been wrestling for 3 years. We can run a promotion by ourselves. Well, like, we don't have the knowledge of wrestling enough. We don't have enough knowledge of how you run a promotion or book shows or anything. So obviously, we had a lot of help from people who have been who had been there longer. Which I think one of the key people in this is Johanna King Kong Karhula, who is our previous head coach and our previous head booker and our previous head of the board. But like, not the older guy, but he was the guy that took charge in 2017. So
Yeah.
he was like the number one guy, and then two of my guys from my class were with him in the board. And that was a very traumatic day when we had this change, because that was like unheard of, and people were kind of like, are we actually voting? Is someone actually challenging this? Is someone actually stepping in saying, I could run this place maybe? And people were kind of like, what? What is
Wow.
this? And
Wow.
yeah, I think we need to do a fucking movie of that one day, because that was good shit. You could not write that. But yeah, eventually we don't. The older, well, the people who were running the promotion before are not with us anymore.
Right.
That sounded very dramatic. I mean, they're not in the promotion
You're
anymore.
right.
Yeah.
Damn. What's in
Um,
that cider?
okay, but yeah, since 2017, and then 2 years ago, I stepped in the board as well. And the guy who was I think the poster boy for change, which is Johanna, he is now taking a little bit of a break from running everything. He is still with us. He's still, yeah, like he's I think he's only the head of the graphics right now, so he does all the posters and crafts,
Yeah.
but not a lot, not right now, because obviously. but but yeah, he was the number one person in a way. And now it's Ioni, who is the previous champion as well.
Oh wow.
So he's actually the chairman, and I'm the vice chairman. And he's also my brother-in-law. I don't know if I've ever said that publicly, but like
Wow.
now, like almost a family business. So
I mean, that's not a bad thing, you know.
maybe not.
I mean, look at the Crockett's of North Carolina, ran it as a family business. Vern Gagne put himself on top, and a lot of promoters put themselves on top because they didn't know if they could trust anybody with their title. Because there was a time where, hey, they would take the, you know, if they didn't like a particular payoff or what have you, or the booking situation, they just hightail it. So, you know, the safest bet was to kind of internalize it. And I mean, it worked for the Knights over in the UK, where, you know, Paige is a daughter of that, you know, so
Yeah.
Sweet Soraya, and then, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, it works. It works in wrestling. It's been proven. The McMahons, good lord, that's a family business, right?
Yes. AEW a little bit maybe as well, kind of
Yeah.
going that direction. Yeah.
No, absolutely. There's like, I mean, literally like two families. It's like, it's the Rhodes, and then I guess I can say their name, it's the Young Bucks. It's the Young Bucks, but
Yeah.
like one of the Young Bucks' wife heads up merch, and
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, family business. I'm just saying, you know, which so how long were you in your own personal career when this kind of change takes place?
I was in the very beginning of my. I count my career in my gears. So I was in my second gear when this happened, and I had actually been on a break. It was almost like protest that I
Okay.
took.
Yeah.
That I decided I would not wrestle. I didn't want to do any more money for that company before we had equal treatment for people.
Yeah.
So there was no female wrestling in 2017 until December, when myself and Jessica Love came back to have a match.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which I mean, well. First off, I love that you count your time in wrestling by the amount of gear that you have. So theoretically speaking, where are you now in terms of your gear and run?
Okay, so now I'm in my most fabulous stage so far. I'm in my fifth one,
Okay.
which I haven't been able to wear a lot because of COVID. So I've had like 3 matches in it or something. So it's still like fairly new, even though I've had it for a little while. But I took it back to my seamstress, so we're making changes to it. So it's kind of kind of having a new gear
Yeah.
and all this stuff, allows us to wrestle again. But yeah, it's kind of my fifth and coming to my sixth one. Kind of.
Hey, there you go. I like it. I mean, Donald Cerrone, who's in the UFC, he had. I can't remember what fight it was, but I remember watching it on the old Tap Out show. And for those who don't know, like the MMA thing, Tap Out was, if you're in the mid 2000s, like Tap Out is what you were wearing if you watched MMA, right? And so
You did it.
yeah, everybody did it. It was like
Yeah.
that and like Ed Hardy, like the final
Yeah.
days of Ed Hardy, right? And but Donald Cowboy Cerrone basically got a sponsorship with Tap Out, and the three guys, Mass, Punk Ass, and Scrape, went to give him gear and whatever. But he came from Muay Thai, and he wanted his shorts to be a part of his MMA gear, so they cut up his shorts and basically made it into his MMA kind of shorts and what have you. So it's kind of the same deal. It's like, hey, if you haven't seen it, it's new to you. Damn it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, what was the first match, and how long did that occur after your initial training? And how long did you train?
I was in training for 9 months. 9 months before my debut, which is like nowadays it's like that's the kind of the standard time of training before you start. But my boys, because we were okay, the promotion was in a very bad place when they got us in. It was almost like a summer camp kind, like not a summer camp, but like a summer course kind of wrestling training. So it was only like 2.5 months, and then they were like, "Yeah, you're done," and I was like, "No, I'm fucking not." Like, what the fuck?
I still get Hurricane Rana, damn it.
Yeah, and then we also lost our training place after the summer, so they were just kind of like, oh, good luck to you, basically. So we were training in like these old, like it was just me and my boys training with one of the older guys who agreed to help us. We were training in some local gyms, kind of just without a ring, just trying to learn something. And then one of my guys, which is, I don't know if I should say his name. I won't say his name, but he was the guy who, he actually got us a new training place.
Okay.
So he rented that out, and then anyone who wanted to train had to pay him for the rental. So it wasn't even like a promotion thing. It was just like he wanted to train. He wanted us to have the ability to train, and he was like, I rented a place, let's put the ring in. And then we started training in that place. So it was a couple of months without like a proper training. So yeah, so even my 9 months is kind of iffy, like if it was actually 9 months or not. But yeah, my first match, obviously it was bad. It wasn't good at all. I don't remember a lot. Like, I've seen it, so I know what happened, but like my actual memory of that match I don't really have that. I have a very good memory though, so I never, if we agree on spots or whatever, I never forget. I don't forget anything in the ring, so that's been my kind of my, what the fuck is that word? My strength in since I started. So yeah. But like I was very shy, and I came from a kickboxing background as well, and I didn't really. It was very hard for me to still, even though I've been a wrestling fan for so long, to find like a balance of fighting or acting a fight and then still taking in the audience, kind of like trying to perform. That was like a fucking hard thing to do. Now I've find that it's almost my strength, the performance part. But when I started, it was like, ugh, why is there an audience? What do I do with that? Like, yeah. That was a rocky start in a way, yeah.
Yeah, but and that's the funny thing about it, right? Where like everybody has a different story. That's why I found it absolutely hilarious that you're like, like everyone else. Like, no, like no one. It's funny. I
Literally no one else.
no one, like, it's, before COVID, done interviews at like MMA and pro wrestling shows and everything like that for almost 5 years, doing close to 400 podcasts, doing this kind of time. No one at all has the same story. It's amazing. Like, I've floated literally the same question in almost all of them.
Yeah.
Never the same answer twice. I mean, like hundreds. But that's the cool thing. It's just like, because most people think like, oh, I have to have this. I have to have sweet gear. I have to wrestle at a reputable promotion. I gotta make it to WrestleMania in 2 years. Like, that's the goal, right? Like, but it's just like, maybe that's not the goal, or maybe you need to be a little bit more realistic about, expectations. One of my favorite sayings is shoot for the moon. Even if you land short, you land amongst the stars, right? You gain more headway in making that big goal or whatever. But then sometimes it's just like, where does it cross that line of being like pretentious? Like, I'm better than you because I'm going to make it in WrestleMania or whatever. And then you kind of wrestle like Steve Mongo McMichael. Happy feet.
I mean, I've met these kind of people, like who are always going to. Well, now it's kind of like I'm going to NXT. I'm going to NXT, and like good for you. I mean, sure, but maybe you would like to train a little. Like, have you considered maybe improving your skills? No. Okay, just go to NXT. I'm sure they'll just open their doors for you because you want it so bad. I'm sorry, I'm bitter.
And that's not just the taste of the cider, you'd learn. Oh no. But it's a weird thing, right? And it, I always try to like not be like the sales that's the sales pitch, right? You should train me because I'm going to make it to NXT, and you can say that you trained me like that, and it's just like. Again, even your own process of enjoying the actual process, not just getting to be right, like, and that's just some growth even on your part in kind of going through the crazy tumultuous world of wrestling and having a home promotion and like literally like taking over your home promotion and establishing a wrestling scene in Finland. These are things that like maybe when you're telling your mom, hey mom, I graduated high school, I'm out, right? But those are the things that you probably didn't account for, that now you're well versed in like everything because you are enjoying the process.
Yeah. Honestly, when I started wrestling, I didn't think about anyone or anything else but myself. Like, that wasn't my initial plan when I started in FC Wrestling too. I will make this promotion better. Like, no, I just figured I'd start here and then I get out just as they are telling us to do. Just go out there and make some goddamn money. Like, yeah, I'll do that. But then there was so much potential in this promotion, and I just obviously when seeing people who have no desire to go out elsewhere, or at least like maybe go every now and then, but not like as an actual profession, like to make a living out of this. Like, why not have a home base for these people, like an actual like that they can be proud of, So yeah, that's what when I started doing these things, that's what I thought, and I still think that.
I think it's brilliant because I mean, even the WWE, right, started out. I mean, it's funny because we're talking about the je ne sais quoi of a person that wants to go to NXT right from day one, and just like, I'm not gonna run ropes, I'm not gonna do Hindu squats, I'm not even taking a bump, damn it, I'm Honky Tonk Man going to NXT, fuck that,
Yeah.
whatever, right? But
Yeah.
it's beautiful because even the WWE, not everybody can start out like AEW, literally national TV deal, right out the jump, blah blah blah, and some of the botches. A lot of people are cutting their teeth on national TV, like
Yeah.
no filler, no lube. We're just going in, like that's where we're going. Like, that'd be horrifying. Good Lord, my goodness, right? But it's kind of cool, the fact that you guys have made and established a Finnish territory on your own right? Where maybe, look at what Osprey's done, right, with Revpro, right? And I think it's pretty all common that that's his promotion. That's why when he comes back, it's, and you can book talent from the outside to work with whatever. That's essentially what wrestling is supposed to be. You can send talent out and do a tour, do an excursion, so to speak. Obviously, after we're done with all this COVID stuff, but like it's tapering solutions, and even the fact that you could even still be a stepping stone, but an established stepping stone, so that everybody wants to wear your title. Like, it matters.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. And I think even before Finland, in the Nordic scene, at least in Northern Europe kind of scene, Finland is seen as something prestigious kind of in a way. 'Cause, like, when we book someone, that means you're actually, what to do, what you're doing, because we don't book a lot of especially right now, because we have so many wrestlers, we can't fit everyone in the same card nowadays. So we are very cautious about who we bring and when we bring people, because if we bring someone in, we need them to give some diversity in our cards, so something that we really don't have here.
Yeah.
And someone who is a good person, who will not be a fucking
Asshole.
asshole backstage or whatever, and also be able to teach us something, or at least teach the person they are working with, but hopefully even more people than just that person. But like, so the reason why we are where we are today is because we have brought in talent from the States and from Canada. We had El Generico, who is Sami Zayn now in WWE, and he is the reason why we know how to build matches nowadays. Like, actually know the structure. Like, we knew like the 3 stages before, but he kind of filled in the blanks for us, and that was even before my time. So they the actual wrestling was already pretty solid when I started in Finland, even though the other stuff maybe was not quite there yet.
That's
Yeah. But like that's the reason why we still need to bring people in, even though we're not doing it all the time. But because we need that perspective, we need people to teach us, and we can't grow just by ourselves.
No, absolutely. You know, and Ref Domi says home sweet home FCF, and couldn't find a better promotion in Nordic. So
Nope.
yeah, but that's I think it's amazing, right? And it worked pretty damn well for Ricky Dozan, right, in Japan. I mean, and it's crazy when you kind of look back in the story. Like, he was actually Korean, wrestling as a Japanese dude, and that would bring. And this is after World War II, you know, and they needed national pride. So here's a Korean posing as Japanese, going like, "Hey, I'm your guy." And then you guess what? The U.S. might have beaten us in the war, but guess what? I'm gonna bring in like everybody, the Destroyer and whatever. I'm gonna destroy the Destroyer and whatever. And then his 2 students, Inoki and Giant Baba, All Japan, New Japan, and there. Just saying.
Yeah. But like, yeah, we're proud. And as Domi said, like, the best promotion in the Nordic, like, easily. Obviously, I'm biased. Of course, I'm gonna say that. But like, ask other people; they will tell you. But yeah, it's such a good thing that we're doing, and obviously we're not done yet. We want to grow and make everything better all the time. We try to do that now, even though we're in lockdown. We do a lot of stuff like remotely.
Yeah.
We have a lot of meetings about, social media, merchandise. We just opened up a merchandise shop, like online merchandise shop kind of thing. Our fans have been asking for it for like years, and we finally had the time to really build that and search for what is the best platform to do that and everything. So there's some good in this. The fact that we had to take a break. But yeah, we need to get back in the ring and do what we are, supposed to be doing, wrestling. So
absolutely. But I love that you talk about bringing other people in and getting a better perspective on things, right? And that's in life, right? Not just in pro wrestling, in life, right? You just sometimes I kind of had it with my 13-year-old, right, where he since he was little, loved Legos and everything, could put it together without instructions, and even like kind of like freestyle and do other things or whatever. And he was absolutely perplexed in this particular scenario that he put himself in. And then he went to sleep, right? And then he went to show me, and he's just like, and then you kind of saw a glimmer in his eye, and he figured it out and whatever. And sometimes you just need a new set of eyes, right, in any scenario that you do. But this time, right, has actually been kind of a blessing, because you could look at all of the scenarios, the social media presence, all the other stuff, other than just putting on a good match, right? Like, the fighters that I, interview, they're like, "Oh, I'm just on Instagram." No. You're doing it wrong. You need to be on literally everything, because you cannot assume that that person, your fan base, is going to go to the one thing. What if they don't like Instagram and that's the only time, whatever? And now you have a shirt. Now you have to sell tickets to a fight, whatever. You just want to reach out to whatever. And guess what? The major promotions. That's what they're looking for. WWE, Bellator, UFC, AEW. They're looking. If you already have a following that could put eyes on their product by having you there, guess what? You already won. Just saying.
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
saying. But
that's what it is nowadays. Like, I've really been stepping up my my own personal social media game
Yeah.
as well, and during the pandemic. So I think I'm doing pretty good. I've more than doubled my following now. So like, it's a lot of work, but I like doing it. I'm pretty sure when wrestling starts again, I won't have as much time to
right.
just do that. But like, I will try to keep it as active as I can, because that's honestly almost like your resume in wrestling
Yes.
nowadays. So it's very important. I don't think you could really. You would have to be very lucky and have very good. You have to know the right people, if you could do it without, like, to be able to do it without social media. Yeah. So,
And again, like if you in generations before, right? You'd have to put, like, literally print out a resume. You'd have to send in tape, right, or DVDs or clips of matches and everything. And usually, to do all that, because if you're not blessed with that kind of acumen to do all of those things, you'd have to pay somebody, right? Yeah, for business cards, promo pictures, all this stuff, whatever. Guess what? Social media is free.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And it's a wonderful thing. Obviously, it's comes in all forms. It could be good, it could be bad, whatever. But it's what you make of it, right? And the one thing that I kind of dig the most about you is you've basically shaped your social media into you. If anybody that didn't know who you were, they can get you right off the bat, like almost no apologies, right? They know you're an activist. They know what you identify as. They know. So again, if I'm in Finland and I see your picture on the marquee in a social media post, guess what? I feel like I know her. So guess what? I'm going to go ahead and plunk her down my money to go ahead and see her do her thing, And that's, again, it's what wrestling was like back in the 1920s and what have you. To see that movie star and that person that you saw in the billboards and whatever in person, you're paying that.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's yeah, it's super important. I know some people don't like to work on their social media, even here in the Nordics and Finland and stuff. It's very frustrating in a way, because we could be a lot bigger as a whole if
Yeah.
everyone kind of chipped in a little, but
Yeah. I think it was Jessica Simpson that said it best. At the end of the day, a little bit goes a long way. Yeah.
so true.
Yeah. I didn't know that Jessica Simpson was going to be the pearl of wisdom in this particular conversation, but I guess it went there, right? No, I mean, you're dropping some verbal gems yourself, so I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, in terms of being a board member, right? Do you feel, as well as a head trader, like, do you feel a certain responsibility, like whatever Nordic wrestling is in like 5 years? Well, my name is, whether they know it or not, my name is kind of synonymous with that. And and also my brothers in arms that trained with me, like, we're kind of all in one accord. Like, we are shaping, like, literally the next generation of Nordic wrestlers.
Yeah, there's a lot of weight on my shoulders for that. The Nordic wrestling and the Finnish wrestling as a whole, but I think first and foremost with the women, like the women's division, that's like my love child. Like, in a way, like, that's been my biggest. I didn't even dare to dream about that when I started, but then slowly I started to notice that is possible, and that's when I started to push for it. So yeah, it's very, and I think Bianca Belair said it very well when she had her documentary or what, like a WWE Chronicle or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
She was obviously talking about being a black woman, so
Right.
she's not only representing herself, she's also representing the black community, the black wrestlers, the female wrestlers. So every time she steps in to the ring, she's not just wrestling for herself, but for these groups that she kind of belongs to as well. So if
Yeah.
she messes up, she's messing up for all the black wrestlers and all the
Yeah.
female wrestlers, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the I so resonated with that as being a female wrestler. Because if we go out there and we do something, we make a mistake, it's because we're female wrestlers. Like that's the mindset for a lot of people still. So we are still carrying that kind of responsibility, and I have installed that into my babies as well. So if you go out there and you fuck up, it's bad for all of us. So don't fuck up. So it's very it's challenging, but it's also most rewarding thing. So it's very empowering to see all my girls, um, like Domi as well. Now she's being on my mind for the whole podcast because she's there commenting. Yeah. So
Hashtag
she's like my
FCF women. There
yes,
you go.
FCO women. Yes. But Domi is like my newest baby. I'm the ref Riku and referee Domi are my newest trainees. So like the freshest ones. And Domi is doing so good. I think we had like a female wrestler like a female referee, sorry, like 10 years ago or something. But
Right.
like we really haven't had that a lot in Finland. So she's making it like she's kind of like doing her own new path that we don't
Yeah.
really have here yet. So she's kind of making that um, the first steps towards what female referees are going to be treated or seen as in the future as well. So no pressure, but don't fuck it up, Domi.
No pressure. No pressure. Well, it's funny because they call her Baby Beth Phoenix, but Jessica in the WWE, right? And
Yeah.
when she was in NXT, it was just like, oh, that's new, right? Like I've never seen that before, right? And you look at every promotion, right? Like of note, and not only might they have a female referee, but also it doesn't look weird. It
No.
doesn't look weird. It doesn't, and that's only a short time, right? And you're almost like, why hasn't it been? If it's so relatable now, like Allison Lee, who does roughing here in championship wrestling from Hollywood. She, much like you, trains in kickboxing and whatever because she wants to make sure that if I'm doing a pull apart and whatever, that I can believably do it. Right, like there's a fine art to it, right? That you
Yeah.
almost appear genderless. That anybody can do their job, and you're in front. You're not important until you're important to count that 1, 2, 3, or ask them if they submit. It's a very tedious job with a lot of different parts, and most people don't even notice.
Yeah, but if the referee is bad, you will notice though. So if a referee is bad, they can really fuck up a great match. Like they can make it fucking suck. So it's super important to have. And if the referee is great, he or she or whatever they can make the match even greater
Yeah,
with their presence and with their knowledge and whatever they're doing. So it's super important. And these were my first referees that I ever trained, or like we didn't really surprisingly have like a clear base for how to train referees, and a lot of places in the indies don't. It's kind of like this is a
yeah,
striped shirt and count
go.
to three.
Yeah,
So so we like I had an actual training that I really put a lot of time and effort to to plan and then to execute, and then it seems to be working because the both of them are great. Maybe they're just naturally talented both, and I did nothing. But like, we'll never know. I'm taking all the credit because I can.
10 points, and I'm going to do a Ty Dillinger and just 10, 10, 10. That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, in terms of like experiences, right? Because this has kind of been your one thing, right? Like the one that you aspired to. So, can you think of whether it be a match, a memory, a lead up to the match, or maybe a road trip? And you don't have to name names, but what has been your favorite memory thus far in pro wrestling?
Wow, favorite one. Oh,
Or do you have a favorite?
I don't know. I have favorite matches. Like I have people that I love working with. I one of my absolute favorite things was when myself and Jessica Love got our feud. Because obviously she's the first transgender female wrestler in Europe. Maybe
Wow.
she's still the only transgender female wrestler in the Nordics, at least. I'm not sure how much that has changed since
Yeah.
she started, but she's been wrestling for I think 12 years or something, so long time.
Wow.
But yeah, so we weren't allowed to wrestle each other before, when I started. So after my protest or
Yeah.
strike, we got our first match, and obviously Jessica wasn't wrestling either for the year in 2017. So the first match, it's actually on YouTube,
Yeah.
FCF Wrestling YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not very good, like the first match, but um, the feeling, because I remember how we felt that we have accomplished something when we got that match, and it was also a babyface versus babyface situation.
Yeah.
So we were both just very genuinely showing our emotion in the beginning, and it's very. I still watch it from time to time because it has a very special place in my heart. But that was like a not very good match, or it was okay, but it wasn't very good. But the matches that we had after, I did my heel turn in that match, and after the few that we had, we did such great matches. So she's one of my favorite people to work with. But I also loved working with the son, who I'm challenging for his Nordic Championship as long as we get back into the ring. He's also a very good friend of mine, but we had such good chemistry in the ring. You never know, how the friendship or whatever, how it will work out in the ring. So that
Yeah.
was very like click, and there we go. I don't think I said one thing to him during the match. Other than that, we were just wrestling. So that
Wow.
was very powerful thing. And then also the first ever female class that we had only for like only for women training course, or like what the fuck is it called, a female class.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when two of the girls from the group graduated or had their first appearance, we did like a promo thing. We had like an attitude kind of show, so we like that was our theme. Like attitude era was the theme of the show. We did do these like sideshow things that are not particularly like, they're not part of the actual storylines. These are just something fun things that
Yeah.
we do every now and then. And so I went back to my old babyface gimmick, even though I was working heel. So that was like I did my old gimmick. We did a promo with this chauvinistic character, not actually a chauvinist, just acting to be one.
Yeah.
And that was a great promo, and it was very, very, very comedic thing. It was horrible to try not to laugh when he was doing that. But yeah, so then he kind of like attacked me, and then my girls came out from backstage, and that moment, like having me and then my girls that I trained myself in the ring. Oh, that was that's one of the proudest moments of my career. I think that was cool. But yeah, so I have like a couple, and it's very specific to like a situation or
Yeah.
things that were going around or happening backstage, and you know the relationships with people. So um, yeah, but those three maybe.
I think those are pretty good. Calling it, and especially like, the teacher becoming the student. Not that you've wrestled any of your students yet, but
I have.
that just to know that you were kind of, and it's funny. It harkened back to what you were before, baby face and whatever, and then you have all of the strong and able females to be able to share the space, the sacredness of the square circle. That's a pretty
Yes.
damn good feeling.
Yeah, it was. That was huge, and it was also like a beginning of a new era kind of thing. So that was very. It was powerful. So
So I mean, obviously, the 2020 was fucking weird, and a lot of it,
yeah.
some of the stuff kind of carried over to 2021, right? So, in terms of like what the trajectory for FCF in 2020, were there big things planned?
Yeah, we were supposed to have the first ever all women show in 2020, and that was supposed to be in May, and then we went to lockdown in March, I think. So that was like the first show we actually had to cancel, and obviously we were going to bring out people from other Nordic countries as well, so it was going to be like a big international uh, spectacle in a way. So that got canceled, and then a lot of other great storylines as well. But that's like the dearest one to my heart that I'm still very, very sad about, and I hope we can make that happen maybe in 2022 or
Yeah,
something like that. But yeah, we'll just have to see. We were able to wrestle still in like we went to lockdown a year ago, but then last fall we were able to do shows with like
yeah,
half the audience that we usually have,
right.
and everyone was wearing masks and stuff. So we did like I think we did three shows last fall, and then we went to full lockdown again, or not full lockdown, but like locked down enough to not be able to have shows.
Right.
Then we did one no audience show this January, so 2 months ago. Um, and that was a fun experience as well. But then the situation got a little bit worse, and the government shut down almost everything. So now we haven't been wrestling for 2 months. So
Wow.
like we've been doing okay because I know some people haven't wrestled at all, haven't trained at all. So we've been able to do a little bit, and trying to, like I said, to do what we can remotely to work for to make the promotion better. But yeah, it's still. I mean, obviously, people's health, like it's a lot more important to wrestling. Like we get that, so we don't really care to complain about that. Of course, we want to wrestle, but we just have to wait to get the vaccines.
Yeah.
We should be able to get all the vaccines. Like, I think we should have like 80% of our population have vaccinated by summer. So that would be like almost. We should be able to have almost like a normal summer, and by the fall we should be able to work, or yeah, to be like live normally in Finland. Of course, it's going to be a little bit
Yeah.
take some time before we can bring people in and travel. But I think we're going to be able to have shows in the summer. I hope.
I I mean I love that. I love that. And also Ref Domi says it will happen, just showing all bit of strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will. Which obviously, kind of this pause, this elongated pause that the world is in, and especially you guys in the Nordic, right? But you've acquired so many skills outside of just in the ring. How to again have a half capacity show, have a no audience show, which again everywhere in the wrestling universe and even in the MMA universe, the combat sports universe are doing, right? So what are the things that you're with these like acquired traits that you guys are all learning and optimizing what each person brings to the table? You mentioned obviously, hopefully, the kind of calibration of the all female Nordic show. But what are the
Yeah.
things with all of these like new talents that you guys have accumulated? Are you looking forward to when you get back?
I don't know. We're just trying to make the base and the foundation better. So I just hope we can make everything go a bit smoothly, more smoothly, and just have a better structure for everything that we do, like whether it's training or building up the ring or social media or booking or whatever. So we just want to make these things like better and better, and have the foundation for when, like I said, when I leave, or the other people that are in these positions now, we can leave something that in black and white for people that come after us, that they know what what works and what doesn't, and maybe then start or continue where we left off, kind of. So I think that's like the continuity of things is kind of like what we are now
Yeah,
focusing on.
I love it. Continuity. Continuity is key in some
Yeah.
respects, right? Continuity,
Hmm.
just to have everything working together. But obviously, Regina, there have been. Speaking of continuity, there have been a lot of people that have personally and professionally kind of enriched your life and what you're doing now. So let's take all the time you need. Let's get some shout outs out of the way.
God damn, it's this is gonna be the longest
Yeah, let's do
session.
it. Come on. Don't sing it, bring it, sister. Let's do it.
Okay. Obviously, all the women, the FCF women, all of my babies, Domi for being here and saying stupid stuff to the chat. I love it. Um, um, all of the FCF women, such strong women in their own right. We are really making changes here. Then my brotherhood that I started with, class of 2014, um, especially Prince Make, who is my tag team partner, Ioni, who is my brother-in-law, and Jose Anderson, who is a dear friend of mine as well. Um, these are like key people for why we are where we are today, in a way. At least where I am, uh, of reasons why I am where I am today. Um, then, of course, Juhana Kinkon Karhula, as I mentioned before, the poster boy for change. Um, he, he's a great friend. He's a great wrestler. He's probably the best wrestler in Finland ever. He's like, I don't know if people understand. Like, they understand it. They just don't say it because they don't like him. But like, yeah, he's a douchebag. But like, only in character. Like in real life, he's like one of the most compassionate and progressive human beings that I've met, I think. Um, and then also Shemeka, who is our number one contender for the FCF Wrestling Championship, who is our head booker as well. And he's my very good friend. I think he's my best friend. So he's like, he came after myself, so he came like 2 years after.
Yeah.
So he had that like even newer kind of way to, especially for storytelling, because he is a professional in that. So he brought that aspect of production, the production level, and the telling the stories and script the matches, and he had such a great insight for that. Um, and of course, the son, my favorite opponent, such great chemistry and such a good friend. Uh, I'm I think I'm forgetting someone, and I'm gonna beat myself up for that. Okay, I'm gonna mention one who is not from Finland, and that is Alice Inc. She's from Sweden. Um, we've never wrestled a match together, but she came to Finland. She flew to Finland just to train with us last
Wow.
year, um, as well as Vicky Noctem from Norway. Um, but me and Alice, we actually had beers over Skype yesterday, and that's also why I'm kind of tired today. Um, So she's like a very, I feel like she's my wrestling soulmate in a way. We see things very similarly, and she's a very hard worker, and uh, I really appreciate the fact that she's really worth trading. I love seeing her growing, and I love that everything I say to her, she really takes to heart, and she wants to learn more, and yeah, I love her. I don't know. I love my mom also. My
Yeah.
mom has been to all of my shows. She has all my merch. She's my number one fan. So
I like
that's it.
it.
That's the end of the shout outs. I'm sorry if I forgot someone, and that just means I hate you, okay?
Ooh, there you go. I mean, at least you know where you stand. Good lord. But for those who want to kind of feel the wrath of Regina, right, and maybe even be like your mom and be a number one fan and grab some merch, where can they find you, the merch site, everything on the interwebs and social media?
Well, I'm to Regina on almost every social media that there is. On Instagram, where I am most active. Also on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Um, and from those places, you can find the link to my Spreadshirt shop, which is my merchandise shop. Go buy my merch. It's fucking fabulous. It has pentagrams on it. It's very witchy. It's cool. Um, but yeah, Instagram I am most active on. So if you want to see pictures of me doing some plus size photo shoots and doing some wrestling and being an annoying feminist and activist, then please do follow me. And let me let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Give me a DM, comment, and
Yeah.
like this video and subscribe to According to Woods, and come on,
Ah,
do it.
fuck yeah. Dude, cheers, right on. And all hail the queen. I will do that. There you go. There you go. All hail the queen. Good lord. I couldn't have ended it any better. But go ahead, follow her, because she's the fucking queen of a Nordic queen, a legit Nordic queen that's also like witches and pentagrams and shit. Why fucking and donuts and shit. So fucking hell, follow her, shoot her DM, have her on your podcast. I did. And I'm so glad she was on it. So I'm just saying, don't be scared. Don't be scared, motherfuckers. Don't be scared. But this has been Accorded Woods, and just like she said, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But I don't know if literally. A literal Nordic queen witch just told you to fucking do it. That's why you should. But if you don't believe that, well, here's Pro Wrestler Zeta Zang.